Welcome, one and all. It is that time of year once more. As the snow starts piling up outside, it's time to look back on what even happened in 2023. And honestly, all things considered, I would say this was a pretty good year in the grand scheme of things. A lot of cool stuff came out this year, some of which I've been waiting for a very long time. And now we can rejoice and look back at what has transpired. Say, like last year, this is just me talking without really a script or anything, but I did write down some categories to make this just a little more interesting. So to get in the spirit, I've written down the best games, best movies, and best anime that I've seen and have come out this year. And just for disclaimer, I did not play every single game or watch every movie or anime or whatever that came out this year, so I'm mostly just going off the ones that I've played, seen, watched, and danced. I don't know. Best games. Number 5, Fire Emblem Engage. Now, this one I'm a little conflicted with because gameplay-wise, I think it is a huge step up to Three Houses. Because honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of Three Houses. Like, yes, it was neat being able to go to the school, raise up your characters and everything. But after a while, I just wanted to go and fight in the maps. But you had to spend so long at the monastery, like raising everything, giving your friends gifts and whatnot. It was just too much. But with this, it just seemed like back to basics. The whole engage ring system was really cool. The types of wacky character builds you could make was insane. Like, by the end of the game, one of my best characters was Anna, using the Ike emblem, and literally had a 76% chance to crit every single time. It was insane. And might I say, music, chef's kiss. I love the more rock aesthetic this time. Although I will say, story, not really a big fan, just felt super generic. The main character was the most bland main character they've ever made, and it just kind of goes exactly how you expect it goes. And I'm also not a big fan of the character designs. Just something about the faces, they look just so off, especially like some of the returning characters. Why do you look like that? But yeah, still overall had a good time. And now number 4, Hi-Fi Rush. So this one was like a complete surprise to me. So I remember, watching the Xbox Presents or whatever it was released in or announced in, just seeing it like, oh, that actually looks pretty fun, and it's on Game Pass, and it's out today. I mean, sure, I'll give it a try, which, usually I don't usually try things as soon as they come out, unless I, know about it beforehand. But for some reason, this just looked really good. I gave it a shot, and I honestly really loved it. I thought it was just so creative how it blended its rhythm-based gameplay with the combat. And it was just I'm just wondering how they did it. Like, actually conceptualizing and putting that into practice, that's just amazing to me. Not to mention the music is awesome, the aesthetics are very pleasing, and the characters are all fun and likable. Of course, there was a little bit of a learning curve with having your movements match with the beat, but I think they visualize when you have to do it super well, so it's not like something that takes a whole lot of time getting used to. I would say this is definitely one of the biggest sleeper hits of this year. Then after that is Mario Wonder. It's just 2D Mario done right. We spent so much time on the new Super Mario Bros. Era that we kind of forgotten what a good new 2D Mario game could look like. I mean, after Mario Maker came out, I was really struggling to imagine, what could they do with 2D Mario? Not you given all the tools for the players to make. What more could you do to the formula? And they found out. They just made all the characters super expressive, and the Wonder Seeds just made every level a joy to explore. All the backgrounds and character animation are so vibrant and colorful that you couldn't help being sucked in. And I guess this kind of goes to prove me wrong. I guess there still is a lot more you can do with 2D Mario, so I am looking forward to what they do after this. And then of course, we got Big Daddy Z. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out this year, and oh my, was it a game. This game really just came out. It made the original one look like a beta test. God, the underground and the Sky Islands just had so much to do with sea, not to mention Hyrule is almost completely different with new tasks, new quests. Sometimes there's whole new layouts. I thought the story was handled a lot better. The new tool and crafting system was much more fleshed out and fun to use and experiment with. It's just, what more is there to say? It's Zelda, baby. It's Zelda. Although I will say, can we give a moment of silence for the bombs from Breath of the Wild? They shall be missed very much. And oh boy, what could possibly be number 1? The cream of the crop, the best of the best, Kino, peak gaming And it's Pikmin 4. Come on, like, are we gonna joke around here anymore? And we all know Jeff Keighley was scared to give it Game of the Year because it just would have invalidated all the other Game of the Year nominees. So he just relegated to the family game to give it some flowers. Alright, I know what you're doing, Jeff. But yeah, no, just waiting all those years, all that time, and finally being able to experience it, to play it, to beat it. Oh, just such a good feeling. It also helps that it was just so good. Like, oh my goodness. Like, it copies Pikmin 2, but it just does everything that went wrong in that game and just fixes it. Like, dungeons are actually fun now. All the Pikmin get their uses. The overworld maps are so bright, colorful, and look just gorgeous. And the Ice Pikmin and Glow Pikmin are the goats. Not to mention, it easily has the best antagonist of anything ever. If you know, you know. Ugh, like, I wanted to make a review or something about this when it came out, but honestly, like, I don't have a way of recording Switch footage, and even then, there's already so much reviews online that, like, I just don't know what I would say uniquely, but it's just so nice having this, finally. So yeah, those are the best games that come to my mind. But now, let's switch up gears a little bit. Let's go over the best movies. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I probably watched less movies than I did play games this year, at least in movie theaters, so this list is probably going to be very strange in terms of quality, but that's just the way we roll. So number 5, we got the Mario Brothers movie. I mean, this was just a fun time. You know, if you just turned your brain off, you didn't really think too much about, you know, the pacing or the character development or how some things felt off. You know, this is just a turn your brain off, let the kids enjoy a funny Donkey Kong moment, Rainbow Road, brain go burr, you know? Jack Black Bowser was easily the best part of the movie. Any scene he was in stole the show completely. And honestly, the voice cast all around did a lot better than I thought it would. Besides maybe Cranky Kong and one other I can't think of the top of my head. They all sounded like really good. And the orchestral renditions of some of the iconic themes from the series, nice touch. Could have used a little bit more of those and less Take On Me, but you know, we'll take what we get. Although, lack of Luigi, like, he really doesn't do that much. It always felt weird to me about the end. Peach says, "Oh, you were so brave, Luigi," as if she even knew who he was. But yeah, all I'm saying is that Zelda movie's gonna be better. Next up on the list, Fast and Furious 10. Now, I doubt that a lot of people here are probably big fans of Fast and Furious. I know whenever I look online, I just see people dunking on the series, but you know what? It's fun, it's silly, it's just a good time, okay? And this one was no exception. And you know, I started watching the series since 7, but seeing the bank heist scene from 5 on the theater screen was like so cool. Especially now that I know that behind the scenes from that footage, from like how they had to have a car inside that safe and drive it around. That was just really cool to see on screen. And Jason Momoa in this movie, pretty gosh darn good. I love just how psychotic he was. I was always just 5 steps ahead of Dom and the boys. Not to mention the action scenes are as spectacular as always. And I know some people prefer when it was just about racing cars, and there is a little bit of that in here, so good for you guys. I prefer the action stuff, but hey, I like the drifting in this one, so I'll take it. And hoo boy, that post-credit scene makes me real excited for the next one. So yeah, fun movie all around. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now this one surprised me a little bit. Around the time Marvel was, and kind of still is, kind of lacking in terms of shows that I liked. You know, like, I liked WandaVision. I liked some of the other shows like Hawkeye a tiny bit, Loki, and even the movies. I guess Shang-Chi a tiny bit. But everything else has just been kinda meh for me. But this one just came out of nowhere and said, no, we still got it in us. And they do. I did not expect it to go so dark as it was. Like, you know, I remember hearing about Rocket's backstory from like the first or second movie when he was playing it, but I did not realize it was this bad. Like, oh boy. I'm honestly surprised they got away with some of the things they did. The comedy is as good as ever. Action is great as always. It's just another great Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I guess I could say Adam Warlock was a little disappointing, but they made up for it with the main villain, who was just such a show stealer. And the way it ends feels like a very nice finale, you know? Like, if this is the last time we see these characters, then so be it. This is the end for them. But afterwards, we have the Barbie movie, baby. Let's go! Out of all things, I never expected to like this as much as I did. First of all, I didn't even know it was PG-13 going into it. I thought it was just going to be a normal PG, but no. It's actually a PG-13, and it is really funny. Like, oh my god. I still remember the last joke of the movie when Barbie goes to visit a place. I don't want to spoil it, but oh, that made me laugh a lot. Also, the visuals were surprisingly creative, and Ken, oh my goodness, Ken steals the show. Ken is a 10 out of 10. This was honestly one of the most fun and creative movies I've seen in a while. Like, never in a million years did I expect Barbie's ass to be slapped by a random passerby on the street in a Barbie movie, or Will Ferrell making jokes about having a Jewish friend. It's just so good. And then for number 1, it's gotta be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Like, oh my, what a movie. The first one was already like amazing, perfect, but this one somehow manages to exceed that in my opinion. I know this is only part 1, so I can't say if it's definitely better or not until the sequel comes out, but golly, I just love how this animated movie can take its time, you know, really flesh out all the characters, like Miles' family, Gwen, everything. It feels like a live action movie in some cases. I don't know if I've explained this right, but it just feels so much more grounded compared to every other animated movie that comes out, which is so refreshing. You know, and the visuals, the fights, like, do I even need to say anything? Like, they were just amazing. And seeing, you know, all the Spider-Man trying to chase Miles and his "I'ma do my own thing" line. Oh! I feel like after watching this has set a whole new bar for what animated movie could be, which has me so excited. Now, on to Best Anime. Now this list is going to be a lot harder to narrow down, because I watched a lot more shows than I did watch movies this year, but I somehow managed to do it, so here's we goes. Number 5 is Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I know that it's still technically going on by the time I'm recording this, but I have to say, so far I've just been thoroughly impressed with this arc. Like, I was always kind of lukewarm in the first season. You know, the action was super good, and I liked some of the characters, but overall, you know, power system was just so complicated for me to understand, and the story wasn't gripping me too much. But this second season really stepped up its game. Like, oh my god, the things that happened so far. Jeez Louise. Like, Itadori was great, Nobara was great, Gojo got to show us stuff before stuff happened. Like, everyone's getting a chance to shine, but at the same time, everything is so dark, and everyone's dying, and I don't know what's going on, it's so scary. But everything's better, because Toto's back, so it's all gonna be good. And also, just whenever Sukuna shows up on screen, it's just mwah, love it. Although what does concern me is the amount of people I've seen sipping over Nanami after that one hair pulling scene. Like, that's a little weird to me, but you know what? I'll let them have it. Next up is Vinland Saga. Now, on the offset, if you say what happens this season, it sounds extremely boring. You follow Einar, who meets Thorfinn, and together they live on a farm for the entire season. But oh my goodness, the amount of growth and struggles and crazy developments that happen is just insane. What Thorfinn's mental state goes through during this was just simply incredible. And the resolution he comes to was just so fitting. Not to mention my man Einar and all the struggles he had to go through, like golly. Not to mention we get to see Knut's Chad formation, which is like, oh my god, try comparing him to season 1 Knut and season 2, it's just like night and day. And you know, like watching this week by week, because this was like 26 episodes or whatnot, like that's like half a year. You know, spending so much time on the farm, and then by the end of it, when they leave, it's just like, wow, I spent so much time watching these guys. And now like, I just say goodbye to the farm. It's like, it was like saying bye to a good friend or something, or a part of my life I had to say bye forever to. It actually got me worked up a little bit. Overall, extremely solid. And now we have Oshi no Ko. Now, this one was a weird one for me. So, after seeing hype buzz around it, I gave it a watch. You know, and I was enjoying the first 10 minutes quite a bit, actually. You know, I thought, oh, this is gonna be a nice story. I like these characters so far. But then, around the 10-minute mark, a twist happened, and I stopped watching immediately, and I thought it was just gonna be another one of those shows. It's gonna be garbage. It's gonna be bad. So I just put it aside. And then someone on Twitter said, oh no, trust me bro, it gets so much better afterwards. So reluctantly I said, fine, I'll check it out again. And I finished it, and god damn it, I ended up really liking it. Now that I've seen where it goes and whatnot, I do like the premise. It is fun, it is interesting. It was just really hard getting into, because I've seen that trope so many times, it always ends badly. but it's actually used pretty well here. I ended up liking the supporting cast a lot. Kana was really fun. The whole arc with the blue hair chick was surprisingly dark, and I don't know why, it was just really weird seeing at the end of the episode, like an actual infographic about, hey, call this number if you're feeling suicidal. Like, wow, okay. Like, I don't know if any other shows really did that, but that was just really weird seeing there. But yes, it was very fun overall, and I enjoyed my time with it. I am very much looking forward to seeing where this goes. Although something I can't look forward to seeing where it goes is Attack on Titan. After all this time, it finally ends. And it was a pretty goddamn good ending, which was surprising for me, because going into it, everybody was saying, oh, it's bad, I read the manga, bro, and it sucks, it ruins the entire series, makes it unwatchable. Is like, is it really that bad? Like, how? I just could not imagine how it could fumble the bag that much. And honestly, I don't know how much they changed from the original ending. I heard it's mostly the same, but it works for me. Like, oh my god, the action scene at the beginning, seeing all the past inheritors of the Titans, fighting everyone, Zeke and Armin's conversation, Levi and Mikasa's, like, beautifully animated segment of them finally killing Eren. Like, oh my goodness, it was all so good. And while it wasn't necessarily a happy ending, as we saw that eventually war did break out, and the world was forever doomed to repeat its mistakes, it's a fitting end for the world of Attack on Titan. Because, like, I did not expect it to be all sunshine and rainbows by the end of this. And knowing that 80% of the population ended up dying, that's a pretty dark revelation. But yes, this truly is the end of an era. Attack on Titan was one of the big series that got a lot of people into anime back in the day. And while it wasn't one for me, because I started around the break between season 3 and 4, I was still around the internet during that time, and I saw it blow up, so it is very nice to see it finally come to an end. But the cream of the crop this year for me was Mushoku Tensei. I really enjoyed the first season, and seeing how it progresses in the second one was just awesome. If you told me the entire plot was gonna hinge around the main character not being able to get it up, I would have already been extremely interested. That sounds like the best idea ever. But seeing it done so so immaculately, it was something else. Like, I just love the way it handles its character and world for the most part. It just feels, even though it's taken place in a fantasy setting with magic and everything, all the characters just seem so grounded and down to earth and, like, act somewhat realistic for the most part. There are a few oddballs here and there, but for the most part, like, Rudeus really is the MVP of this season, and his English voice performance this time, so good. I was actively cheering when they got to the cave scene. You know what I'm talking about, baby. Just so good. And all around looking back, such a great year for anime in general. But yes, this was the best of the best. Not counting, of course, Friendship Girlfriend Season 3! Yeah! Friendship Girlfriend Season 3, sweet! And that is pretty much the year in a nutshell. A lot of good stuff came out this year, like I said before, and honestly, next year's looking to be just the same. I mean, we just got a teaser of Sparking Zero at the Game Awards, plus Monster Hunter Wilds, which I know is 2025. But hey, that's still something, and it's probably delayed, but if we do somehow end up getting that Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse Part 2, awesome. And who knows, maybe the next Pokemon game will be good. We can't tell, but yes, a fantastic year all around, and honestly, even for the channel, it was a great year. I managed to get up to 550 subscribers, which still feels extremely weird to me. Like, I know in the grand scheme of things, that's like a small drop in the bucket, but to me, that's just so amazing, and I am truly thankful for each and one of you who have stuck with me so far. It really does mean the world to me. But please, let me know in the comments below. What were your highlights of this year? Anything super amazing that happened? Are you looking to anything for next year? Do you have any video ideas you want me to do or talk about or something? I don't know. Let me know. But I think I've been here long enough, so if you excuse me, I need to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. So, until next time, see ya!